everyone, welcome to this week's DIY. It is me, Madison, and we're here with another lovely flower arrangement for you this week. We are going to be doing the blossom arrangement, and that is one of our lovely arrangements on the spring menu. It's very pretty. It's like a very different style of spring. It has those beautiful light purples and lilac colors that you like, but has a touch of earth tone in it when we bring in our barista roses. So it's going to be a fun one. Today I'm going to be working out of my Flowers to Dreams bronze vase because why not? I like it. It's nice to build out of. And yeah, let's get started. So for our flowers, first we have these two tulips. We have these beautiful lavender tulips. They're a very beautiful color. And if they're open enough, we might be able to reflex them. Let's see. Bam, you can. So I'll be teaching you guys how to do that with those. We have these beautiful yellowy but peachy spray roses that are really cool color. They're like on that end of like yellow and cream, but also peach. Very interesting, very cool. I really like them, and you should have two of those. Next, we have barista roses. Yes, because everyone loves a barista in this house, so why not bring in the barista roses? These are a beautiful, almost clay-like color. They're absolutely gorgeous. They remind you of clay from the earth, but they're also beautiful and like not creamy, but kind of coffee toned. Like I understand why they're called barista. They're not necessarily coffee colored, but they have that warm, like, I don't even know, like that 90s coffee shop look. Remember how Starbucks used to look? For like the swirls and the oranges and the browns. That's what these bring in. So I'm guessing that's why they're called baristas. Very beautiful, single petal rose, and you should have two of those. Then we have this beautiful Lysianthus. This is gorgeous. Look at those purple little flowers. Lysianthus is absolutely gorgeous. They look like little fluffy, tiny little roses. And sometimes if you're lucky, you can even reflex them, which really adds some spark to bouquets and arrangements. So we'll see if we can do that. Next we have Limonium. Now this is a beautiful perennial plant. It's also called, I believe, sea moss, and then some people call it like something rosemary, something else to do with the sea, but fun fact, it's not related to rosemary, and it is not related to moss. It is actually a plant that is in a family called the plumbago family, and that includes things like statice, limonium, things like that. So this is a really cool plant. It's going to add some featheriness to it without it looking a little too grassy. Next we have our green. We have Nagy. So Nagy is a very like strong, dark, structured greenery that you like to use. It doesn't have a lot of flexibility in it, but it does have a really cool leaf pattern which can add texture. It has that beautiful glossy red leafage to it that's going to add some shine to your arrangement, and it's going to go really beautiful with our flowers today. And last but not least, we have stock. Now I love stock because it smells it smells amazing. It has like a very sweet smell to it. It kind of reminds me of something like sweet pea, which is really nice. But once it gets old, it does start smelling like broccoli, and that's because it is in the same family as your cabbages and your broccoli. This is just like a flowering plant inside of that family. It's absolutely gorgeous. It smells amazing. It's fluffy, it's full, and it's gonna add some fullness to our arrangement. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to break down my greenery. As always, you always want to start with that. Now again, Nagy can grow inside of these like really weird patterns like this. So we're going to split this up because we can do so much with just a few stems. So I'm just going to cut this up and section it off smartly. Again, I'm getting rid of any leaves that are going to be beneath the bowl line because we don't want any leaves in our water. And then I'm just going to stick those in, making sure they're crossing each other, so we can build up our mechanics. Again, just splitting up my pieces, being intentional about that, like really thinking about how full I want it to be, how long I want to keep these pieces, if I can really stretch them a little bit more. This one's a really full piece, so I'm actually just going to cut it a little more shorter and put it towards the back for stability, and then use that piece, since it has so many pieces, like little branches, I'm going to stick some pieces through there to really get a strong mechanical base going. Drop my pruners. All right, the same thing with this piece. I'm not gonna separate that a little bit too much. I feel like I can get more out of it. If I keep it whole, I'm just making sure all of those pieces, all those leaves that are beneath the bow line are out of here. Perfect. And now that I have those two pieces in there that are really branchy, I'm just gonna start using that. I'm gonna really make sure I'm poking through some of those pieces to get some of my pieces to stand up a little higher, get some height out of my greenery. Make sure that it's not all facing the front. There's some dimension in my greenery, different heights, different lengths, facing the front, facing the back, and I'm making sure I'm going through that middle part too. Beautiful. All right, I got about one more piece in there. I'm gonna put it smack dab in the middle. Perfect. And now look at that. We have the perfect greenery base, actually. This looks perfect. So now we're gonna go on with our linear. So I got some stock. I got 3 pieces. With my stock, I usually like to do 2 longer ones and maybe a short one that fills in that middle. So I'm gonna put one right here, something that's a little lower. And I'm gonna use these really big fluffy ones and I'm gonna keep them a little higher. Same thing, I'm taking off all my leaves. These are some really strong stock. Like, this smells absolutely insane. I feel like I'm just touching the petals and I'm just getting so much of that scent. It's absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's see how we're liking that. We're loving it. Fix some of my greens, fluff some things out. Let's move this a little bit, just a little. Perfect, perfect. All right, now we're gonna go in with our roses. This first one I'm gonna keep a little shorter. I'm also gonna make sure I'm taking off all of those like guard petals because they're looking a little wompish, so I don't want them there. They're just gonna fall off and get my water. And then to open this baby up a little bit, I'm just gonna blow into the center. So I usually take it, create like a wind tunnel with my hand, and just do a really like tough blow straight down the middle. Sometimes I like to twist it a little bit too while I do that. Just a little. I don't really think these like to be spun too hard, so I don't spin them too much, just a little. Beautiful. We went from this to this. Small difference, but it does make something. Cutting that one a little shorter. I'll put that one right in the front. Beautiful. And then for this next one, I think I'm gonna put it a little higher, but right here in this section. Take off all those leaves. Cut off what I don't need. We do the same thing. We're gonna loosen it up by blowing into it. Nice. Slanted cut because roses love a slanted cut. I'm gonna just leave it a little higher in the back. All right, next I'm gonna go in with my spray roses. So I'm gonna take off all those little extra leaves. And I'm also gonna take off any of the petals that look a little crazy. They're just like roses, so it's usually the guard petals of each little individual rose. And then I also like to blow into the middle of these just to really open them up. Beautiful. Boy's got a piece in my mouth. All right, come this one a little shorter, putting that one right in the front so it can be seen. Gonna play with my green a little bit and snip that down so it's not too much in the way. Beautiful. And then I got one more. I think I'm gonna do the same thing I did but opposite. So these are opposite. I'm gonna do like a little one right here, one in the back, just a little bit taller. Again, doing the same thing, taking off all those little petals, all of my leaves. Any petals that don't look good, they gotta go. And gorgeous. Slanted cut. That one right there. All right, next I'm gonna go in with my limonium. So the great thing about limonium is there's so many pieces that you can use. So I'm just gonna separate those right now. Got a lot of blooms in this one piece of limonium. So we got some good limonium this week. Sometimes I like to blow them open a little bit, just a little. And then sometimes you can even, if they allow it, if you really want them to look really big. I do this mostly for bridal bouquets because it just adds a really beautiful, like, bouncy look, but it's pretty inside of an arrangement as well. You can kind of flip these petals inside out just a little, just to get like a bigger flower. You see that? So the difference is this versus this. Gorgeous. And we're just gonna start sticking these places, making sure. I'm actually gonna put this one right here. And again, you really want to split up your blooms because why not? You can do a lot more once you do that. That one was beautiful. So you can do that. You can twist them out a little bit. Be gentle with them though. They're a little fragile, but most flowers are pretty tough. And we're just going to stick them in different places, making sure we're paying attention to the back as well. Stick some in the back. With liatris, there's also like little tiny like pieces like this that are still very usable. So I like to put those places too to add like a gardeny flair to my arrangement. Put this one right there. And sometimes putting two things next to each other really draws your eye to it. So I put one of my liatris a little outward and this one's like a little more inward. Very gorgeous. Gorgiana. We have another bud. I'm gonna focus those beautiful little tendrils over here just to have like a cool flare, cool spot that really draws your eye to it. And then I'm gonna do this one a little more towards the back. Also, let's do like a vibe check real quick. See how I'm liking it. Gonna turn some of my stock a little bit. So like at first, my stock was facing the opposite way, but as we all know, and as Madison says in our videos, flowers have faces, so we want to make sure that the blooms are facing so they can be seen. And that you also notice that your arrangement will look a little bit more full once you do that. So we're gonna do that. And then I'm gonna put this one right here. Let's see how we're liking that. Beautiful. I'm gonna turn the stock more upward. Beautiful. All right, I'm loving how it's going. But now we're gonna do our tulips. So we got these beautiful tulips. And I kind of want them to be like standing out. So I am gonna put them next to each other. I just can't help it, especially with tulips. I just feel like they're the best when they're right next to each other. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, one, peel off all those little flowers. That's what it looked like first. I take off all these little leaves because those get really slimy in the water and just decay really fast and kill your flowers. And then I'm gonna reflex these. So just like roses, you can reflex a tulip. You just gotta be real gentle. They got the most real, like, delicate petals. They really like to rip, so you gotta be really gentle. Now with my nails, this may be hard, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my two fingers like this, and I'm just gonna slightly flip them, almost like you're pinching them, but don't pinch them too hard, they might bruise. You're just slowly, like, smoothing it outward with roses, it's more like a sudden like flip. But with these, you really want to like smooth them outward. Like you want to bring that like reflex forward, kind of. Be gentle. Be gentle. Now some tulips won't want to be reflexed. That's okay. Sometimes when I reflex tulips, I don't even like to reflex all of it because I like it to look like a natural, like, oh, she's curling open, you know? So I reflex some of them fully and then I reflex some of them halfway just to get like a cool dimensional look that looks a little more intentional in a way. So we're gonna do that. And I think I'm gonna have it follow this gesture I got going on over here. And when I say gesture, sometimes you can notice like your arrangement moving towards a certain way, and sometimes the best thing to do is follow that with how your flowers are facing. So I kind of got something going on where like everything's kind of turning towards this area, so I'm gonna go with and against it so I can make it look real natural and beautiful. I'm gonna play with that gesture that I've created. So this one's gonna be facing more this way to make it look more dimensional, and then I'll probably have the next one a little taller going out that way. And then we'll give it a good look and see how we like it. Fix some things around, you know? And again, reflexing, we're just smoothing, we're flipping them inside out, but we're smoothing them over just so we can really get that full reflex. If you don't, they'll keep flipping inside out, so you really want to make sure those petals know they're here to stay like that. So that really takes you kind of bending them outward, like that, like really training them to want to stay in that flip, making sure all of the petal is flipped inside out and smoothing it outward. And when you do it, it looks like a completely different flower. Like there's been so many times where I've reflexed a tulip and given an arrangement to someone, and they've asked me, what is that flower? And I'm like, girl, that's a tulip. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. All right. Ooh, that one wants to go this way. Let's find a place in our mechanics that are gonna keep it the way I want it to be. All right. Maybe, so we don't hide our spray rose, I need to put that one a little more, yep. So what I did is, in the front, it was like hiding a lot. So what I did is instead I brought some stuff forward and just tucked this to the back. Now, again, that's still getting the look I want, but it's adding some dimension. Not everything's like it's all clustered together and weird. All right, so now, last but not least, for our last touches, we're gonna start spreading around these tiny little sprigs of limonium. Just to add some really pretty, delicate detail. You don't need much because you don't want it to overcrowd things, like you don't want it to look too messy, but it just adds like a nice little springy flair to this arrangement. So I'm gonna concentrate some in the middle a little, maybe have some in the back a little, just so we can have some dimension. Have a little moment where some is sticking out the side a little, just peeking from the side. Let's take a good look at it. Again, just doing my final touches, making sure I'm liking how everything's looking. This isn't staying the way I want it, so I'm gonna try to find like a, there we go. I found a place in it where it's gonna hold. Same thing with this one, I need to find a better spot in my mechanics where it stays upright. There we go. And then this rose can be moved back just a smidget, just so our limonium isn't getting as crushed in the front. Truly see it. Excuse me, not limonium, but my liatris isn't getting as crushed in the front. And then you know what? I am going to spread these buds around. These little things, I'm going to spread them around a little more. I feel like it'll look prettier that way. Then it all bunched together. the little blooms, not the little blooms, but the little like the little buds. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Just spread them around a bit more. Yeah, I definitely like that a lot more. All right, and this is this week's DIY. Again, it is the blossom from our dailies menu, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It has these beautiful barista roses that have that beautiful brown, almost clay-like color that adds like a sense of like earthiness to this like very lilac-y arrangement. We have the stock that smells amazing, and it's that beautiful like light lilac color that really bounces off of our lavender, lisianthus, and tulips. And then we have these orangish, almost peach spray roses that add such a beautiful pop of color that really help tie in that like brownness from the barista roses. All together, it's a very beautiful arrangement, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know I love seeing what you guys make every week, so make sure you send pictures to Flowers for Dreams Detroit or at Flowers for Dreams on Instagram, and I will see you guys next week. All right? Bye. All right. Thanks.